They told us this quarterback duel would be tight, a four-man showdown, neck and neck, no clear leader. The narrative was patience, evaluation. Let the best man rise. But in Berea, that open competition facade is unraveling, and everybody senses it. Because while the Browns organization tries to maintain the illusion, the players have already chosen sides. The coaches feel it. The energy has shifted. If you're here for the real story, the unfiltered chaos behind the curated highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to witness this quarterback drama unfold in Cleveland, subscribing isn't optional. It's essential. The fans see it. The locker room feels it. And it's aligning behind one name, Shedeur Sanders. Not because of politics, not because of branding, but because every time he touches the football, something electrifying happens. Something different. This isn't a rookie who looks promising. This isn't a redshirt project or a developmental flyer. This is pure performance. And it's undeniable. Shedeur isn't just edging out reps. He's commanding the tempo. And tempo separates amateurs from pros. Most rookies are overwhelmed by it, needing the game to decelerate, craving extra time to process. But Sanders? He's turning up the pace. He's orchestrating protections, identifying hot routes, and manipulating defenses like a seasoned veteran. The stuff most third-year quarterbacks still trip over. He's executing it with poise. And when things collapse, when the pocket disintegrates and pressure crashes down, he doesn't panic. He steps up, maneuvers, delivers a laser, and jogs back like nothing happened. It's not just about mechanics, it's presence. Coaches don't always verbalize it, but they recognize it. The huddle tightens when Shedeur speaks. Linemen fire off with urgency. Receivers sharpen their brakes. Even the sideline leans in. It's not volume, it's gravity. Meanwhile, Dillon Gabriel is fading, not just physically, but emotionally. He looks like he's chasing the game instead of steering it. Yes, he has the arm, yes, the frame, but he doesn't have the heartbeat of this offense. His eyes dart during reads. His footwork is unsettled. Every progression feels forced. He's overthinking. And that's the difference between someone playing quarterback and someone becoming one. Shedeur is playing fast, fluid, like a jazz maestro riffing off instinct. And here's the terrifying part for every defense in the AF's North. He's just warming up. Let's talk about relationships, because in camp, they're just as critical as footwork. Quarterbacks build chemistry, they earn trust, and Shedeur is already winning the room. Tight ends are staying late to sync with him. Receivers are asking for more snaps in his rotation. Even the running backs are exploding harder out of their breaks when number 2 is under center. That's not favoritism, that's rhythm. Every offense has an internal clock. The right quarterback sets it, and with Shedeur, it's in perfect sync. Just watch how the backups respond to his cadence, how the second string is outperforming the starters during certain reps. Not because they're more talented, but because he makes them believe. That's power, and it can't be coached. Even the defense notices. Watch after each series, veteran defensive backs walk by and give him the nod. That quiet, rare sign of respect. That doesn't happen for fifth-round picks. But it's happening now. Now flip the script. Gabriel was supposed to be the safe bet. Plug and play, steady, and in fairness, he's not a disaster. He's solid. A backup you can trust to operate the system and avoid calamity. But he's not winning games. And that's the crossroads Cleveland finds itself at right now. Do you want a quarterback who won't lose you games, or one who can go win them? Cleveland has played it safe before. They've trusted the clipboard QB, the caretaker, the bridge to the next draft. And it always ends the same. Stagnant offense, restless fans, and a ceiling that refuses to crack. But Shedeur, he's a ceiling breaker. And yes, it's camp. No pads, no real hits. But that's exactly why it matters. When someone stands out in non-contact settings, it means they're wired for the moment. It means when the fire comes, they won't crumble. They'll rise. That's the kind of DNA you build dynasties around. The fans know it already. Scroll through Brown's Twitter. It's a consensus stardom. Strip away the politics, the draft bias, the depth chart hierarchy. Start the best player, period. It's not shade at Gabriel. It's not premature hype. It's what happens when talent collides with timing and forces your hand. And now comes the reckoning. This isn't just a quarterback decision. This is a referendum on the organization's identity. Are you a team that clings to hierarchy or one that adapts on the fly? Are you bold enough to let a rookie seize the throne if he's earned it? Those who hesitate always regret it. And here we are, the reps are piling up, the plays are stacking, the energy is building. But the pressure, it's not on Shedeur Sanders, it's on the decision makers. Because you can only keep a star in the shadows for so long before his light punches through the curtain. And right now, that spotlight is begging for Sanders. This isn't just a feel-good training camp storyline anymore. This is a turning point, a pivotal chapter in the franchise's identity. You either seize it or watch it walk out the door. Because Cleveland's future has already stepped onto the field. All that's left is to write his name in ink on the depth chart. QB1, Shedeur Sanders. Training camp is supposed to be a battleground, a proving ground where resumes mean nothing and execution speaks volumes. And Sanders, he's shattering the old guard. Every throw, every rep, he's carving cracks in the concrete of traditional quarterback politics. Pedigree, draft status, hierarchies, he's bulldozing all of it. The question isn't if anymore. It's how much longer can the Browns afford not to start him? Because here's the hard truth. The longer they delay, the harder it becomes to justify. The gap between Sanders and the rest of the room is widening with every whistle. Within the QB room, the contrasts are clear. Sanders is the first in the building and the last to leave. The first in film study, the last one out of install meetings. His questions? Not frequent, but surgical. He's not asking what, he's asking why. Why this progression? Why this alignment? Why not flip the concept when facing a quarter shell? That kind of intellectual precision can't be faked. And it can't be taught in a crash course. You either have it or you don't. Shedeur has it. Gabriel is still searching for it. And this is the part NFL teams hate admitting. Some coaches don't hesitate to start rookies because they doubt talent. They hesitate because they fear disruption. Naming a rookie QB1 shifts everything. Locker room dynamics, media narratives, veteran egos. But that fear, that's a luxury losing teams can't afford. And Cleveland, despite all its promise, hasn't sniffed true relevance in decades. They don't have the luxury of hiding gold because it's not polished yet. Let's call it what it is. No one currently on the depth chart is playing well enough to justify keeping Shedeur on the sidelines. Gabriel's mechanics collapse under duress. His footwork is rushed. His progressions stall. And when he makes a mistake, it snowballs into forced throws, visible frustration, and a contagious drag that seeps into the entire offense. Receivers pull up early, linemen hesitate, tight ends bail on their routes. Compare that to when Shedeur enters the huddle. It locks in, the energy sharpens, the pace accelerates, the execution ignites. He doesn't just play quarterback, he conducts momentum. That can't be charted on a spreadsheet, but it moves entire teams. Let's also address the elephant in the room. Energy bias. When a team spends high draft capital on a player, there's an emotional investment. There's pressure to validate the pick, to protect the narrative. That's what Gabriel is fighting now, expectation inertia. He had the hype, the headlines, the higher draft slot, but the NFL, it doesn't care about your resume. It only cares what you do between the lines. And Shedeur, he's putting together highlight reels at walkthrough speed. He doesn't need a trick play package. He doesn't need exotic schemes. He's slicing NFL-level defenses with vanilla concepts in flawless timing. When chaos hits, he resets, climbs the pocket, and lasers a 20-yard out with the ease of driveway catch. You don't manufacture that, you ride it. Now zoom out. This isn't just about week one, it's about culture. Quarterback decisions set the tone. They echo across the entire locker room. Players talk, coaches whisper, everyone watches. If the guy who's clearly outperforming the rest gets overlooked due to politics, you lose credibility. And in the NFL, when you lose credibility, you don't just lose games, you lose buy-in. Guys stop fighting for that extra yard. They stop sacrificing for one another. They check out mentally. Making Shedeur QB1 isn't just about merit, it's about message. It tells the locker room, we reward performance, not politics. It tells the fans, we want to win, not preserve ego. And it tells Shedeur Sanders, we believe in you. And when a young quarterback feels truly trusted, his ceiling explodes. He stops overanalyzing. He starts trusting his instincts. He takes calculated risks. And in those moments, that's when magic happens. Let's not act like Cleveland doesn't need magic. The division is stacked. The Ravens are dangerous. The Bengals are loaded. The Steelers are quietly retooling. Cleveland doesn't need average. They need exceptional. And Shedeur is the only quarterback in the room showing flashes of exceptional. All right, everyone, brace yourselves. What I'm about to share isn't just an update. It's a revelation that redefines how we need to talk about Shedeur Sanders and this Browns quarterback room. I've been tracking Shedeur's journey since the moment he stepped into the national spotlight. And what I just uncovered, it's jaw-dropping. And I'm not exaggerating. This isn't a rumor. It's not hearsay. This came directly from someone who's been embedded within the Cleveland Browns orbit longer than some of these rookies have been alive. I'm talking about Tony Grossi. Yes, that Tony Grossi, the man who's been covering this franchise for over 3 decades. He's witnessed every disaster trade, every failed QB experiment, every rebuild that never reached its destination. And just recently, Grossi let something monumental slip, something that somehow flew under the radar. The mainstream media hasn't picked it up. Twitter hasn't even caught wind. But if you care about Shedeur Sanders, and especially if you care about how this Browns roster is being constructed, this changes everything. Here's what happened. Grossi was discussing this year's training camp in the ever-complicated quarterback situation. You've got Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dillon Gabriel, and Shedeur Sanders. 4 very different paths. But while everyone else obsesses over who's going to be QB1 or which veteran looks best in shorts, Grossi dropped a bombshell that stopped me in my tracks. He said, and I quote, "Rookie draft picks are always safe under Andrew Berry. He does not cut his rookie draft picks their first season." Let that sink in. Not some rookie picks, not most, always. That's not a preference. That's an organizational doctrine. That's a front office policy. If Andrew Berry handpicked you in the draft, especially in this 2024 class, you're not just in camp for reps, you're making the team. Smash that subscribe button, drop a like, and sound off in the comments. I want to hear your thoughts on this because it matters. And Grossi doubled down. When asked directly whether Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel would survive final roster cuts, he didn't hedge. He didn't say, we'll see how camp plays out. He said they were making the 53-man roster. Period. That's a seismic shift. Because most people still view this QB room through the outdated lens of a rigid pecking order. Flacco at the top, then Pickett, then Gabriel, then Shedeur. The assumption? Sanders is a developmental project. Take some preseason snaps, ride the bench, fade into the background. Wrong. That's 2002 logic. The Browns are playing a whole different game now. They're not playing checkers, they're playing chess. Let's get some perspective. In just the last 2 seasons, the Browns have cycled through 9 different starting quarterbacks. That's not a typo. 9, 4 just last season, 5 the year before. That's not depth, that's a crisis. So when people ask, is Shedeur going to play? The real question is, how soon? Because based on history, someone's going down. That depth chart is a revolving door. And when that happens, and it will, who do you trust? A 40-year-old vet on borrowed time? Or a rookie with 4 years of team control and upside bursting at the seams? Let's be honest, Joe Flacco, while heroic in his 2023 run, is 40 years old. Even Grossi called him a physical anomaly and admitted nobody knows if his body can survive another 17-game grind. Then there's Kenny Pickett, essentially a one-year rental, not the long-term solution. These aren't franchise cornerstones, they're placeholders. And everybody knows it, including them. Now here's the part nobody's talking about enough. Rookie contracts. That 4-year deal Shedeur signed, that's not just ink on paper. It's leverage. It's flexibility. It's how you build around a young QB without committing $200 million in guaranteed money. While Watson's deal is anchoring the mix at a ludicrous $36 million, the Browns front office added 4 quarterbacks for a grand total of just $7.5 million against the cap. That's elite-level roster architecture. And with Shedeur and Gabriel under rookie deals, that's not just depth, it's a long-term chess move.